Occupying Till He Comes at Southwest Prophecy Ministries.
Welcome, friends. This is Dane Rome, your announcer for today's Last Days Beacon program. Thanks for joining us. Just a reminder that these programs are supported by your gifts to this ministry. If you would like to contribute to our ongoing ministry that deals with Bible prophecy and current events, simply go to our website to contribute. Our website address is www.swpm.us. You'll find a donate link on the homepage. The website address again is www.swpm.us. Thank you for your prayers and support for this faith ministry. And now, let's join Dr. Dave Schnichter for another Last Days Beacon program.
On the program today, we are going to discuss the question, is deportation unchristian? We are hearing a lot in the news about the subject of deportation since the inauguration of President Trump. Deportations of illegal aliens have increased, particularly those with criminal convictions. Even some with no criminal histories are being deported. This is giving rise to controversy within the Christian community as to whether it is biblically correct to deport those who have not committed crimes within America. Let me offer the views of one Christian in this regard, quoting, "Half of Latino Christians worry about themselves or someone close to them getting deported, according to the Pew Research Center. Many Hispanics are praying for protection as the U.S. government announces plans for more and quicker deportations for undocumented immigrants." Samuel Rodriguez, one of President Trump's advisors and president of the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Conference, recently stated, quote, "I ask the administration to enact and fulfill the promise President Trump made not to harm families and exclusively deport those involved in nefarious activities. Please help us keep families together." End of quote. The author continues, "I agree. We should deport criminals and those who refuse to work and pay taxes, but we should not make criminals out of honest folks." The author goes on to present his biblical rationale for his views. Here's an idea. Why don't we love our neighbors as we love ourselves? If we wish to live by the values of our Savior, let's pay closer attention to what he said in Matthew 25:35 and 36. He made it clear that when his people show hospitality to strangers, they welcome him. God defends the cause of the fatherless and widow and loves the foreigner residing among you, according to Deuteronomy chapter 10, verses 18 and 19. This thought is repeated throughout the Old Testament. The ancient wisdom of the Bible provides a better way of thinking than the obsessive fear, ethnic bigotry, and inflammatory rhetoric that's causing our neighbors to worry about the future. End of quote. Since this is a publicly stated position, it is fair game to render a public analysis. My analysis will proceed along three lines. 1, faulty language. 2, faulty logic. 3, faulty exegesis. Let's deal first with faulty language. Anyone who is conversant in the art of persuasion is aware that the skillful use of words is essential to advancing one's position. Words carry with them an emotional impact, either positive or negative. For example, the term pro-life has a more positive connotation than the designation anti-abortion, which is used by the cunning opposition. In the same way, the use of the term undocumented immigrants is a skillfully benign term used by open border advocates. It carries the idea that these are people of equal virtue as legal immigrants, but that they just failed to secure their paperwork. It conveys the idea that they are guilty of nothing more than a clerical error. It ignores the fact that the United States has had a legal immigration system throughout our national history. This is a system that has been carefully designed by our government to protect the health and welfare of American citizens. These so-called undocumented immigrants have chosen to ignore and disobey those just and prudent laws and sneak into this country. In reality, they are illegal aliens. To benignly label these lawbreakers as undocumented immigrants confers upon them a dignity and virtue that is unearned. It would be like squatters who broke into your house while you were away on vacation and who proclaimed upon your return that they were, quote, undocumented homeowners. How would you feel if the home and possessions you had worked for your entire life to obtain were suddenly taken from you by these undocumented homeowners? Wouldn't you feel a sense of violation and injustice? In the same way, if you or your ancestors came into this country through the strictures and requirements of the legal immigration system that grants the privilege of American citizenship, shouldn't you rightly feel a sense of violation and injustice toward the approximately 30 million people who have come in through stealth and deception? A second misleading term used in regard to illegal aliens is to characterize them as, quote, honest folks. Do honest folks set aside the just and prudent laws of our country, sneak across our borders, and proceed to take jobs and benefits reserved to those who have earned the rights and followed the legal pathway to become American citizens? That is not my definition of honesty. They are no more honesty than thieving squatters who attempt to steal your home while you are away. Also, there is an appeal to our emotions in the phrase, please help us keep our families together. Open border advocates rarely mention the families that will never be together again because of homicides committed by illegal aliens. For example, the family of Kate Steinle, brutally murdered by an illegal alien that had previously been deported on several occasions, will never be together again. Thousands of American families will never be together again because of murders committed by illegal aliens. Do American families deserve our love and consideration? Or is it only reserved for illegal aliens? Now let's talk about faulty logic. The article goes on to state, it is easy for children of privilege to forget that our ancestors came from somewhere else. America is a nation of immigrants. The Declaration of Independence states that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, especially the right to life and freedom. Human rights are based on the fact that human beings bear the image of God. This is what it means to be human. If we believe this, it will inform our thinking about immigration policy." End quote. This author is advocating a forgive and forget approach to those who have, through stealth and dishonesty, trampled our immigration laws in order to enjoy the unearned benefits of citizenship. The logic of this position leans in the direction of saying that those who did not cut to the front of the line and who instead chose to follow the costly and lengthy legal immigration process were chumps and fools. After all, if these undocumented immigrants are just like the rest of us, why even bother with immigration laws? Why not invite the other 7.2 billion humans on this planet to sneak across our borders and enjoy the neighborly love of American Christians? Why shouldn't these future undocumented immigrants who are made in the image of God enjoy the same privileges of these honest and law-abiding neighbors who sneaked into our country in the past? It's only fair, isn't it? Let's also talk now about faulty exegesis. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verses 18 and 19 was quoted by the undocumented immigrant's advocate as providing the biblical basis for his views. The text reads, "God defends the cause of the fatherless and widow, and loves the foreigner residing among you." It is important to consider the biblical requirements for the foreigners that resided in Israel. We read, for example, in Exodus chapter 12, verses 48 and 49. "And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you." Strangers were required to keep the law of God. They were required to keep the Sabbath, Exodus 20, verse 10, to observe the feast of unleavened bread, Deuteronomy 17, 14. Bring the appropriate sacrifices, Numbers 15, 27 to 29. Observe the Day of Atonement, Leviticus 12, 49. Indeed, they were commanded to obey all the commandments, statutes, and judgments of God's law. Old Testament scholar James K. Hoffmeyer has written a book entitled The Immigration Crisis: Immigrants, Aliens, and the Bible, published by Crossway Books in 2009. In this book, he deals with the issue of strangers and foreigners in Old Testament Israel and concludes, quote, "From the foregoing texts, we can conclude that in the ancient biblical world, countries had borders that were protected and respected, and that foreigners who wanted to reside in another country had to obtain some sort of permission in order to be considered an alien with certain rights and privileges." End of quote. Thus, to conflate and confuse Old Testament foreigners who entered Israel by permission and who obeyed the laws and religious practices of Israel with illegal aliens who sneak into our country and disdain American values such as the rule of law demonstrates faulty exegesis. It is my view that there is nothing unjust or oppressive about America's federal immigration laws. They are designed to protect American citizens and preserve American culture. The problem has been that for the last 30 years, the federal government has not been enforcing its own immigration laws. Because of that, our country is plagued with between 11 to 30 million illegal aliens, at a cost to the American taxpayer of approximately $346 billion annually, according to the National Research Council. Therefore, to deport those who came into our country illegally and in disregard to American laws is not unchristian, nor is it a violation of the Scriptures. In fact, I would argue that doing anything less than deportation spells the eventual death of the American culture. Borders, language, and culture are the essence of a sovereign nation. All are being destroyed because of the open borders policy of the last 30 years. I applaud President Trump's efforts to put America first.
Thank you, Dr. Schnitzer. My friends, this month we're featuring an excellent DVD entitled Dark Clouds Over Elberton. This 2-hour film is a fascinating and true whodunit mystery told masterfully by award-winning producer Chris Pinto. Many are aware of the mysterious guidestones constructed outside Elberton, Georgia back in 1979. Known as America's Stonehenge, these granite pillars contain the 10 Commandments of the New World Order. Who was this mysterious benefactor known as R.C. Christian who financed this project? After a 5-year investigation, This powerful documentary presents groundbreaking information and dares to solve the mystery of who R.C. Christian really was. This film is a must-see for those who wish to learn more about the globalist use of environmentalism toward the cause of population control. You may obtain a copy of this film for a gift of $24.95 plus shipping. Simply go to the homepage of our website, www.swpm.us, to find the film. The website again is www.swpm.us. And please join us next week for another Last Days Beacon program brought to you by Southwest Prophecy Ministries. Until then, this is Dane Rome. Thanks for listening.